Okay guys, we're back out here. Got the heat on so we can warm this place up. It's 43 degrees in here right now. We're gonna work on this. Dug out the brake, and now we got the shrinker stretcher. Set up the table back here. I got plenty of room to work for what I'm doing. And that's it. I actually moved the car away from the wall over there a little bit, just for access of everything. I'm going to take some measurements off that wheel well, to do that wheel well, to get the curve right. It looks like I have a radius to make, but it's perfectly straight, like this. It doesn't look like the wheel well has any kind of curve to it this way. So we should be good. So if that was the case, I'd have to make a small side and front patch and put a curve in it this way, then hook another piece to it to make things complicated. So that's why we're going to stay down low. Okay guys, we got the little Harbor Freight brake bolted to the table. I got one arm off, just makes it easy to go back and forth here. Okay, I bent up a piece roughly to 90, that's all it matters. I through bolted the shrinker on here. Okay, takes 2 3/8 bolts. That's going nowhere. And I'm going to play around, see if we get this metal to do something. I haven't touched this yet, I haven't done anything yet. I'm going to see if I can find a place to put the camera, and we'll just play around. Okay, it's not the ideal thing, but let's see. Just going to line it up at the end. I'm not going to put a lot of effort on. I'm sure how far apart you space it is how much it's going to curve also. So you might want to come up with a uniform pattern playing around. It works. Like I said, I'd like to come up with that's why I want to play around with this. I want to come up with a uniform pattern. Do I move the full width of the machine, half the machine? How far do I go? So, that's pretty cool. But not quite. Just using this as a quick guide. I'm going to make a template. I am going to start 3/4 of the way, even with this black piece right here. Else I'm not going to be able to stretch in the end. I'm sure it's easier to put more of a shrinkage to it than it is to go back and stretch it. That thing's working pretty nice, guys. We might have found another Harbor Freight tool that actually works. Now we put too much curve into it if you were going by this. So that's where we would have to unshrink it, stretch it. So that's why it's better to go, I guess, little easy steps. But you could see how tight all my lines are to each other because I'm only moving it like this much at a time. I figure the farther you move it, the more choppy this is going to become instead of just a smooth radius. So that's actually pretty good. You know what it is to make the patches so much work. I figured a little practice would be good. Oh, that's actually pretty good. So if you creep up on it a little bit, or you get used to the tool, I'm sure it'll be good. So. Just for argument's sake. The only thing that has to happen is that radius has to be a lot tighter. That's too rounded. Now, can I build up the edge of that? Sure. But I'd like to get that radius sharper so it matches. Right now it does not match. First of all, it's not 90. It's out just a little that way. But that's what it was when it started. The tool didn't do that. Yeah, right now we just got to get a tighter bend. So we got to work on that with the whatchamacallit, with the brake. That's what we're going to work on right now. I'm going to try and tighten it up, because the radius here should match the thickness of the metal, and you can see that's way too big. That, if you were buying a square tube, would be 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch stock, not 20 gauge. So let's work on that a little bit with another scrap piece. Can you see it? The one on the left is definitely tighter. Very close to what's on the car. Off a hair, but definitely workable. I'm thinking that possibly I can clean up that with a chisel, but that's going to leave dents in there, so I'm probably better off with that. This one I skipped a big chunk, and you see I put a little wave in it. But this one was also, I bent it tighter than 90 degrees and tried to bend it back after I had that at the jig, so you can see the little whoop in it. So I think it's going to be one of those things, you get it as close as you can, and then after a little filing and a little door glass, I think you'll be dead on. So, but I want to try a couple more pieces. I'm just sliding this jaw back and forth. That's basically what I'm doing. See if we get it just a tad bit tighter. Gotta find more metal. Okay, 6.5 by 13.5. I've played around with a bunch. I even tried to put that second line in there. Forget about that. That just deforms it too much when you put that shrinker in there. So what will probably happen is I'll probably make the patch, and I'll make the upper end like I did last time and taper it down. And the other side will end up mostly metal, so we'll be good. And we'll make the bend as tight as we can into the weld. And if I got to put a bead of weld on there to make it as sharp as this. So I want to, make it look good. I don't want to rely on having to put the molding back on. And I know I'm putting mud guards on, but I want to rely on as if I'm putting nothing on. That's always your best bet. So once you start to skimp, cut corners right off the bat, everything else goes downhill. Will this patch work? I don't know. We've got enough metal here to make another one. So let's cut this and give it a shot. Okay, we've got this piece cut out. It's going to go like this. This is going to be the wheel well. This is going to be the top. Top is going to be trimmed. The bottom is going to be trimmed. The back is going to be trimmed. Probably every side is going to be trimmed. I'm going to bring this to the max with the machine will shrink. So let's see how that works out. Let's go take some measurements. Okay, there's my first pass. We got to go more. We're going to have to, like I said, build up that edge and hand make it. There's no other way. I couldn't get the edge any tighter of a radius. At least not with this brake. I guess this is pushing the brake with the sheet metal. So let's work on this some more. Okay, guys, we're breaking this into two. I'm going to do the patch that you see, then I'm going to do a section of here separate. I'm not making this patch any bigger. This is it's tricky enough. It's definitely tricky enough. It's a hair bit taller, which is great. It's touching the backside, so this is actually where it has to be. I said you got a hair bit more radius here, but we could definitely match that when we're done. Then it's going to take a lot of fitting. Okay, to show you how everything's skewed and twisted and tweaked, I made this patch extra big. Okay, it's overhanging the bottom by that much in here, so it's going to end like right here. Okay, but in the back corner, it's only overhanging that much. Here it fits in, and here it's going to overlap the top like that much, and overhang the back like that much. So, obviously we have to rebuild the inside first, but I'm just playing around with this. So the next thing we do is I'm going to cut that section out on the inside and make a small one of these. But it has to be a little shorter than this, obviously. And then maybe we'll get in there and we'll spot weld it when we're done. I don't know. But the angle is going to change a little bit when I pull that back. We'll tweak it. But according to the molding, this doesn't like taper down like this. We're coming at the right angle, or we will be when we're done. Right now I think it's a little and then but like I said, it's not up against the thing this way 100%, but it will be. I think it's off by like a smidgen, and that'll change the radius of it. So yeah, so we're getting there.